So it's truly an honor to be able to do that. And so mahalo Dave for holding that space for us all and sharing his knowledge is so beautiful. Aloha ohana. I can hear you guys. What do you say? Aloha ohana. Mahalo. My name is Benji Fox. I've been on here on Maui for about 5 years. And I travel around working with the earth everywhere I go. I'm a huge advocate and proponent for food sovereignty. So I don't know if you guys know what food sovereignty means or what we're talking about when we say food sovereignty. So maybe we should break that down a little bit. Sovereignty comes from the word sovereign. So sovereign is like a ruler, like the supreme power over this thing. So we're talking about food sovereignty is our supreme power and control over the resource, production, and distribution of our food. Our direct connection to the nourishment that sustains us. So one thing that I'm proposing for everyone here is just say, I'm gonna give you guys a little bit of a challenge and say, what if you did for the next month or next 3 months, let's do three degrees of separation between you and your food. But let's just do 30% of that. So see if you can do 30% at 3 degrees. So 30% of everything that you touch, everything that you eat, all the resources that you use, see if you can get those within 3 degrees of separation from you. So either somebody you know, someone they know, or someone they know. And that's being me really generous. You should be able to do 100% at 3 degrees. But I'm gonna say, this is my proposal. See if you can do 30% of your life at 3 degrees of separation. And considering 6 degrees of separation is every human on the planet, that's pretty easy. So I spent 2 years living out in Kipagulu on the Hana side of the island. And during that time, I had a chance to really immerse myself into the planet, into the earth, into this way of life in a very real way. I didn't go to the store, I didn't open trash, I didn't have a trash can, I had a compost bucket, I had a composting toilet. So there's a complete cycle between me and the earth and my food and my needs. So when we talk about sovereignty, we're talking about empowerment. We're talking about freedom. We're talking about resource and energy exchange and empowerment, putting that power back into our hands. And this is nothing new. This is something that we are regaining, this knowledge that was lost or that is being remembered into our society, that we can say, hey, this is something that we used to do all the time. Our grandmothers and great-grandfathers would all do this and know how to make bread from scratch and know how to use these things. And now we have all these conveniences of our modern world, and we still can't do the same basic stuff that people in India living on the street corner could do. They're cooking on a hubcap and they cook better food than I can with the Vitamix. So what are we missing here? Well, we're missing this connection to this knowledge, to this culture, to these skills that gives us this form of empowerment. And actually, we're not missing it at all. It's right here. It's all around you. It's within the people and their skills and within the earth. Like Dave, who's just standing here. He's holding that knowledge, not just for himself, but for everyone, for all of us. And so the more that we find out what we're here to good at and we're here to share, the more that we can actually share that with everyone. And so I'm empowering you to connect to that sovereignty within yourself. So I believe that there's a time that has come now for its consideration of unification. And I'm inviting you all to join this growing movement toward freedom and sovereignty, that food can be free, housing can be free from oppression, free from exploitation, free to do what you love and be supported to do so. Our community supports us by giving away play and joy. And this isn't a fantasy anymore. This isn't something like, oh yeah, this would be great one day in the future, we don't have to worry about this, or one day in the future we don't have to use money. No, there are many of us that live this way right now. We're woven into each other, we're woven into the earth. And to some people, it's really clear that we are meant to live this way in a village, in community, and in harmony. And that when we start sharing from others, other people share with us. And I believe that if we all shared what we had in abundance, that we would all have everything. So I hear this story all the time. Everybody says, you guys probably heard it, like, my goal is I'm gonna buy land. I wanna buy land and I wanna start a community and I wanna invite all my friends to come live on this land with me in this community. How many of you guys have heard this story before? Everyone? You guys probably have the same vision. Everybody's like, oh yeah, I wanna do that. Okay, great. But my belief is that we don't have to buy the land. Somebody has the things already. Someone has the land, someone has the skills, someone has the trees, someone has all the things. It's not like they're out there and we gotta go get them. Like, no, we're already holding them. All we gotta do is just put them all together on the same place. And what stops us from doing that? Well, this separation, this fear, this energy of exploitation. That is the sovereign, there's a holding back our sovereignty. We're saying, oh wow, I actually can't, because what if I get exploited? What if I'm not giving enough as that person? Well, actually, we all are meant to give different amounts, different skills, and like fingers on a hand, right? So we all have our unique abilities and unique superpowers. And you might say, okay, well, the first finger is the best, or what about the thumb? That makes us opposable thumbs. Okay, well, what about the pinky? I mean, what do I put up my nose or my ear? Like, we have very specific, unique skills, and we need everyone to bring those skills. And so I subscribe to this philosophy of equal but different in the way that we show up in the world. So I'm here to say that not only is everybody irreplaceable in the way that they show up, but it also brings harmonic balance to all these energies to have everyone doing what they're doing. So part of this sovereignty is that we come together to unify in the way that we share. So a lot of us are doing this, and we're embodying this. I'm not just talking about this as, okay, this is a cool idea, guys, we should start sharing with each other. But no, there's actually a group of us now who have been doing this and living this way. And we started forming a group, a coalition around this movement of sovereignty and gardening and sharing, and we call it konohiki. So konohiki is a Hawaiian term that has to do with the land rights and the elders who were owning the space of the land to be able to pay to the ali'i. They're basically the most knowledgeable elder on the land who's able to support people go to ask their questions. So people who own gardens, people who've lived here their whole lives are supporting for that to happen. So now we have a collective of several of these gardens and community gardens in Haiku, on the east side, on the west side, where we're able to come together and share resources. Somebody might say, I have a wood chipper and I need a garden, but I don't have time to build it. Well, okay, well, we're able to have that support everybody and not worry about the monetization of exploitation, but to say, hey, we understand that, what does Ubuntu mean? What does thriving mean? It's not something that you can thrive alone. Thriving is that we all thrive together. We all are dependent on each other. And understanding that system of interdependence. And that actually creates our sovereignty, is that we're not dependent on this outside system. You know, before the white people landed here, 90% of the food from this island stayed on this island and was feeding the people here. And Maui actually supported a greater population of Hawaiians than it does now of settlers. And now 90% of our food is imported at a very high cost. So not just a cost to us, like, oh, it costs more money. No, this is a high cost to the earth. This is a higher carbon footprint to grow this food far away, using pesticides, using water that's pumped in, shipped here, brought to us. And the quality of the food, you can go to Mana Foods and look at that food, or you can go to the farmer's market and look at that food, and it's very clear. I don't know about you guys, you had a papaya from Hana, or you had a papaya from Mana? You know the difference? Of course you do. So not only is this food better for us, but it's better for the earth. And it also takes us out of this system of dependence and in slavery and exploitation, and it brings us into a system of interdependence and a system of freedom and sovereignty, where I can say, cool, Mana can close. The restaurants can close. Like, dude, no worries. Like, that's cool. I like that. I like to go get chocolate. I like to buy ice cream. But, you know, honestly, we can find other ways. The ice cream we make ourselves. You guys been to Coconut Glens down there? The chocolate we make ourselves, it's way better. And there's only one way to get that. There's only one way to achieve that feeling, and that's to go the hard way, so to speak, to do it yourself. But once you do that, you realize, wow, that's not actually the hard way at all. And in fact, the convenience that I was thinking was convenient, well, it's actually not that convenient overall and for the earth. You know, that convenience is actually killing. It's killing our culture, our sovereignty. It's killing the earth in some ways for us to conveniently have that thing. So it's very short-sighted of us to look at that. I carry my own spoon and chopsticks. I have for about 7 years now. I've saved a whole mountain of single-use plastic cups and spoons. And so I believe that single-use is abuse. You know, who is it really convenient for here? Am I saying, oh, it's really convenient? Like, well, look at the whole picture. Is it actually convenient? Because it seems like it's a lot more work to have one made and shipped here and then thrown away and processed. And people walk around like, oh, I'm hungry. Where's a spoon? Oh, thanks. Oh, I eat the food, they throw it away. And they're like, 2 hours later, oh, I'm hungry. Where's a spoon? Like, no, you're going to need that. You've eaten before, you're going to eat again. Like, think it all the way through. So this short-sightedness stops us from fully connecting all the way through the system and creating these sustainable cycles of unification. And so when we talk about permaculture, that's what we're talking about. We're talking about closed-loop systems. There's no trash in permaculture. There's no away. In fact, humans are the only creature on the planet that believes in this place called away, in which we throw things. Well, what does that mean? What do you mean throw it away? Oh, you put it in the trash can and somebody takes it away and it's gone. What do you mean it's gone? Have you guys been to the middle of the island over there? Because they're building a second Haleakala in the middle of our island. And it's made out of trash, and it's made out of plastic bags. It's made out of convenience. So, okay, do we want to trade convenience for this plastic mountain here? And is it actually convenient? So these thoughts come up in my mind, as the consciousness becomes aware and I start to see these cycles. I'm like, whoa, this is actually not good at all, you guys. We're giving our power away for this convenience. When we come together and we live in villages with sustainable systems, there's so much more power and honestly so much more convenient. What's more convenient than walking in your front yard and picking a salad? Is monofoods more convenient than that? So when you think about it, when I really start to apply these concepts, I realize right away, wow, this is so important. This is so important. I'm going to go talk about it to you guys. I'm going to share this. We really need to be connecting in this way. And you know what? The people who are so generous and kind to do the same. They want to help you. So this Konohiki movement that we're focalizing, that we're standing here saying, we need to help people. We all need to help each other. I came out from Kipahulu, and I see what's going on with the fires. And I help start these organizations, and I feed people all over the island. And now I see that there's 50 people standing there wanting to help, wanting to support. And I'm like, that's great. Let's ground this energy into something that can be sustainable. Why does it take a disaster for us to come together? Why do we have to lose thousands of people before we come together and realize, oh, we should actually be helping each other? Like you need, I have, you take. That makes so much more sense to me. So since I've been here, things have been manifesting and coming in that direction. I flew to Maui with a backpack and a mandolin and a few $100. And since then, I have been able to manifest and channel in these directions hundreds of acres of land, houses, cars, thousands of dollars. And it's not for me. This isn't for me. I'm not taking this money. But recently people have given us land and we're starting farms and we're growing food to give away for free. And I donate my time for free on land that was given to me for free to give away food for free. So you might say, wow, you're just wasting your time. You're not even getting paid for what you're doing. Well, how are you gonna pay your bills if you don't have a job? So, well, I'm not gonna have a job or bills. I'm gonna serve, I'm gonna give from my heart, and I'm gonna ask for what I need to keep giving. And the more that I show up, the more that I serve, the more that I'm provided for to serve. So I work 7 days a week, 12 hours a day on food sovereignty. This is my mission, this is what I'm here to do. And as a result of that, I don't pay for gas, I don't pay for food, I don't pay for rent. Everything that I need is provided. I ask the universe that bring me the tools that I need to do the work that you want me to do. And it's provided to do that. And now I'm bringing together everyone as well and saying, hey, you guys, who wants to do this? Who thinks it's a good idea that we should have food sovereignty on Maui? Who thinks it's a good idea that we should have this form of security in the way that we connect to these basic resources for ourselves? To me, that seems like maturity. That seems like growing up as a human being. I don't need someone to hand it to me and make it for me and wipe for me. Like, that's cool. No, I can take care of myself just a little bit. In fact, they say the average American has 60 people around the planet that take care of them. So I don't know if we realize the value of an American dollar. You guys ever go to a third world country and you realize how far that goes? Like, whoa, this is really worth more to a lot of people. Like, say, people who slave away just to get my dollar. And so how do I lessen that number where I feel like a little child, that there's like the equivalent of a small village somewhere that supports me to live my life of convenience, supports me to live my life of iPads and driving my car and feeling like, oh yeah, I'm so great, I'm American. Well, dude, there's 60 people around the world that are suffering and living lower quality of life so that I can feel this convenience. So I realized that. I'm like, oh man, I feel really humbled. Like, how do I lessen that number? And I realized it's not even about making it zero. It's about making the people that depend on me equal to the amount of people that I depend on. And then that feels like a village. And that feels like, cool, I got you, you got me, we got each other. And so how do I lessen that number? Well, maybe I start making my own clothes. Maybe I start carrying my own spoon. Someone doesn't have to make me spoons anymore. So that number gets less. And so I look at ways that I can start lessening the number of the amount of people that depend on me to match the amount of people that I can support. I cook and I feed, I have a farm where I grow food, and I can support more than myself. I could easily feed 20, 30 people every day, like pretty much all you guys. I could grow your food and feed you every single day with just my human labor. And that's great, and that feels great, but still, I need about these many people to take care of me. Someone's gonna pump my gas, someone's gonna, do all the stuff in the world that I can't do for myself. Someone made this tablet, somebody made this microphone, and that's great. I can't do all those things, but maybe I have things, like the fingers, that I can do that no one else can do. And so I call these superpowers. We all have these unique abilities as human beings to show up in this world, and we need everybody. When you were born, the moment you were put on this planet, you were here to match a vibration of what the stars were aligning to. The stars were all in place for a certain way that when you come onto this world, you hold a certain vibration and a certain key of resonance that is here to put harmony and balance on the planet. And so we need everybody to come together in this way and share their skills and share their gifts. And here we're talking about food and food sovereignty. And yeah, honestly, not everyone has to be a gardener to connect into this way, because I'm sure that you have some special ability that you can do that no one else can do. And the way that we come together and we share with each other is a concept known as sacred economics. And so essentially this is gift economy. This is the way that the earth works, which is how this ties back in. The earth gives freely without need of want. So they say people giving should be like grapes on a vine, or a horse after a race, or a dog after a hunt. They're not looking for praise, they're done and they're moving on to the next. Like, great, cool, awesome. Like, I'm doing it because I love to do this. And so I want to empower you to find what is it that you love to do that no one has to ask you to do, that you're going to do without being asked. You're going to work 10 times harder because you love doing this and you're inspired to do it. And this is how we bring sovereignty. This is how we end this energy of exploitation. This is how we end this energy of coercion, that we're doing things we don't want to be doing. No one has to do anything they don't want to do. And everyone can have the thing that they love doing be the thing that sustains them. And this is the vision. How does that work? Well, it happens by us coming together and working together. So this group that we're starting, this Konohiki group of farmers and gardeners, is for you, by you. So we're going to people's houses, we're going to people's gardens, we're building them gardens, we're connecting them into these other garden parties. We are supplying everything that we need. And I'm not paying for it. Even here, people walk up to me and hand me big bags of seeds and trees. Hey, I've got land. Hey, do you want to come do this? Here's a bunch of food. And it's not for me, it's a channel for this cause. And so we're vibrating this frequency, we're holding this flag and saying, hey guys, who wants to do this? And all this energy is channeling through this channel to make this happen. So this isn't me doing this. This is me holding space for what already wants to happen, what is already happening. And that's why I'm speaking to you now, because I believe that I'm not alone in this. I believe that there's a seed of this in your heart too. And that you guys all feel the same thing. Like, oh yeah, we should totally do food sovereignty. That's our way of being free. Not only that, but like, how much you spend at Mana Foods? How much of your life and your time are you donating and giving away and selling, trading for this convenience? And what percentage of that is actually being effective? So what I'm speaking of here is, okay, you can connect to your friends and your tribe and your family and create freedom and save money and create sovereignty and create empowerment in a way that gives you time and energy and nutrition and health and life and vitality. Well, that sounds like the greatest thing in the world. Of course I want to do that. So when I came here, I didn't know about anything about growing food in Hawaii. I had a farm in Palm Springs for about 5 years, and I grew food in the desert, which was kind of impossible at first, but I learned how to do it. And after coming here to Hawaii, I realized if I can grow food in the desert, I can grow it anywhere. And so I started learning, and I started going to people and helping them in their garden. People who have established gardens their whole lives. And then people who've never had a garden and had a chance to plug that in and try and see what that's like. And I gained this knowledge over time and this experience of working with my hands and actually tangibly being able to produce the food that I'm eating. And in this way, working with these elders and working with people who have been doing this longer than me, it allows years of experience greater than mine to guide my hands. So I'm not doing this. This isn't saying, oh, I know what to do. I'm saying, no, dude, this is what I was taught to do. This is the knowledge being passed down to me through generations of experience that we can pass on again. So Dave, who just stood here telling the same thing about kalo and talking about the varieties, he's passing down an ancient lineage of tradition, of connection to the earth, of empowerment. There's a reason people dedicate their entire lives to these things, because it's so important. And the more that we know and the more that we're empowered in it, the more that we have an ability to respond, the more that we have a responsibility to do this, to create. And so I'm looking at all of you and I'm saying, maybe really check inside of yourself and see what way are you in integrity with your ability to respond to this situation? What responsibility do you have toward food sovereignty? Toward saving the earth or killing the earth? Toward connecting with your community and creating sustainable solutions that create freedom and empowerment? Or toward finding convenience in ways that create suffering and exploitation? And people are not aware of it. And so this is me saying, hey, wake up, you guys. This is your chance. You, in many ways, I am in many ways hurting people that I don't even realize. I don't even realize that this way of life that I was born into, that when I turn the sink on, when I wash my dishes in this way, when I use these sink, when I use these chemicals, that I'm actually hurting myself and the earth and other people. And it's okay. I forgive you. I forgive myself. Because I didn't know any better. I don't know any better. You didn't know any better. This is how we were raised. We were raised in this system, in this way. But now, you know better. Now I'm telling you, hey, think about it. Check in with yourself, find that integrity. What ability to respond to this issue do you have? What is your responsibility in food sovereignty? Does it mean that you start putting all of your food scraps in a compost bucket instead of the trash can? Does it mean that you eat one meal a week from a garden instead of from Mana Foods? I don't know. You tell me. What can you do? And as we awaken, as we become conscious of this movement, and conscious of how we can connect to our foods, we grow up. We grow up and we grow in maturity in the way that we connect as human beings to the earth, to our culture, and to our tribe. Now I'm not a little child with 60 people that need to take care of me. Now I feel like I can take care of 60 people. Now I feel like I can take care of 8 billion people just by being me and embodying my unique ability to be myself. So what I'm asking you to do is get involved. What I'm asking you to do is plant a garden. Help out in somebody else's garden. Harvest food. There's so much food here. Like, there's so much food that's just rotting on the ground. So we've been doing this, and we started this garden party movement. And we have these really beautiful times once a week where we get together and we go to somebody's house and we help them. And sometimes it's not much. You just pick some weeds, or maybe you're planting some food, whatever it is. There's some auntie that needs help, and we're helping out our community in this way. And it comes back to help us all, because those people come in their ways when they bring their energy and their gifts. And it's so beautiful. We share a meal from the land. We get to play music with each other. We're creating a culture and a community around connection. Connection to each other, connection to the earth, connection to our food. And what do we get from this besides the food and the saving the money? We get this great sense of empowerment, this great sense of wonder and freedom. So the way that we can bring our mana to the table, so to speak, the way that we can bring our mana to the aina and to the gardens is ways that we can connect to each other and find stable ways of generating freedom for our tribe and for our culture. Here we live on an island, so it's a little more right in our face as far as how we are dependent on this food. On the mainland, you could say, well, this other city over there makes whatever, but here we have to get everything shipped in. We are totally here isolated. But that's really beautiful, because that gives us a really awesome opportunity and chance to work together, because we can see real results of this unification of where our food comes from and how we're supporting each other. And I'm telling you, it's 100% possible. And there's people that live a couple hours that way in the jungle who don't have a choice and have to live this way and have to depend on each other. And it's not like they're unhappy, they're thriving. The road could close and they'd be totally stoked. And so what I'm suggesting is, hey, maybe we can learn a little bit from each other, and we can share a little bit of our knowledge and our skills and our culture to bring a little bit of this bohemian culture to this grounded earth culture. This way of natural sustainability to our need for convenience. And okay, yeah, let's have this need for convenience, but like I said, what is truly convenient? Let's make it really convenient. What's convenient is down the road, there's a community garden that I can go anytime I want and I can harvest food. I don't need to own the land. I don't need to buy it and invite people to do all the things. Someone has the things. Like I said, that we can share. And I can share what I have, and they can share what they have. And we don't need to monetize it in those ways, and we can. And actually, we're making a system right now through Konohiki that is going to be an app that goes on your phone that'll be able to monetize people's involvement with different levels of participation. So you say, okay, I help out so many hours in a garden, and then you can harvest from this garden. You do enough for your community, and then you can reach these levels of community support. And this is already in place. This isn't a fantasy of, oh, this is going to happen. This happens right now in a real-time way that isn't documented. So like I said, within this culture of it, you can ask. People know who I am. They know what I'm here to do, and they're going to show up and give me everything that I need to do what I'm here to do. And that's based on my level of community involvement and participation. So the same with you. If you start doing those things, people are going to come to you and give you things that you need to do the work that you're going to do. And maybe it's going to be me coming to you giving those things. And the things aren't from me. They're channeling through those people to give to you to do that. Because life wants this to happen. And life will find a way for this to happen, whether it's through you or through somebody else. Because this is the change that is coming. This is what we need as a culture. And we all subconsciously have this energy in there. And that's what I'm speaking to, that seed inside of you all right now. And that's what's vibrating and resonate through my words, which are really just a decoration for my energy. And you're feeling my energy, and you're feeling this resonance of truth and sovereignty, and feeling empowered by it. Like, yeah, dude, yes, let's do that. Well, great. Well, here's how we do that. We find people who are feeling that and have those resources that they want to share in that way. And we can hold space for that. So right now, we're holding space for that, and people have donated us 5 acres of land here in Haiku, mowed cane grass to start a farm, to grow food for free, to give away in Lahaina. And so that's what we're doing. And along this lines, it creates resources, it creates abilities for housing people. So now we can take people in and house people to grow food for free. So I can say, you want to come in, you want to donate your time to grow food to feed people for free, then I'm going to make it so you don't have to pay for rent, make it so you don't have to pay for food. I'm going to give you all the tools that you need so that you can continue to support other people. And so now as we do that, people are coming forward and they're stepping up and donating everything that we need. Trees and money and cars, trucks, land, all the things that people in the beginning said, oh, I want to save money and buy land so I can start a community. Like, dude, you don't need to save money to buy the land. And first of all, let's talk about buying the land. Let's talk about land ownership. Have you guys heard of the Apua'a system? Okay, well, you guys should go look it up. In fact, later, Lehua is going to be giving a speech on that, and I recommend you guys check it out. But we don't own the land. We are the stewards of this land. If anything, the land owns me. I work for the land. But the land takes care of me. So as we steward this land, as we take care of this, as we take our steps, working this project, planting these trees, this is not for us. This is not for me. I'm not going to eat off of these coconut trees that I'm planting. They're for the future generations. And the trees that I'm eating off now, I didn't plant the trees that I'm eating off of now. The past generations planted that. So it's my job to walk these footsteps and walk this path that isn't my path, and to walk it lightly because there's going to be other people that are going to continue on this path after I do. And they're going to follow it, just like we are. And so we're just one link in the chain, but this is our ability to respond. This is our responsibility to be this link in the chain, to make these steps moving forward. And the more that we become conscious of these actions and how they're affecting the future, and how they're affecting these 60 people that take care of you to live your lives, the more that it becomes harder to live in that convenience that's killing. The more that I'm thinking twice, okay, do I want that plastic spoon? Let me, can I borrow your cup? I'll just use that. The more that it starts to become harder to make those unconscious choices. So may this inspire you. Wake up. The time is now. Now it's time for us to stand into our birthright. You were born here. You were given to this world naked to live naturally, to be supported. This day we are here to celebrate our Mother Earth, and she will support you your entire life. She will support you and give you everything that you need your entire life to live and thrive. Not just you, but your friends and your family and their family, and on and on and on and on. She gives freely this love of abundance because she can, because she's fully embodied in her magnificence and her love, and she's seeing it and just saying, I have so much to give. And I feel that in myself. I'm like, oh man, I have so much to give. And I don't have a bunch of things. I don't have a bunch of material. I don't have a large bank account. But what I have to give is my mana, is my life, is my love. And you all have that too, in abundance. Way more than you think. In fact, once you start tapping into that well, it just flows and overflows with this giving and abundance. And it feels so good to give. In fact, don't ever do anything that doesn't feel good to give. Anything that we do out of an energy of making somebody like us, or not wanting to feel bad, or doing it for some other reason, everybody suffers. This is what nonviolent communication teaches us. Everybody suffers because you're doing substandard work, they're receiving substandard work. It's like, we're done with that. We're done giving from that source. Now I'm inviting you to give from your heart. Give to what feels good. Feel really good about giving and excited in the way that feels great. And once you do that, you realize that's where the magic is. It feels way better to give than to receive. If we sit here right now and all you guys gave me a present, that's great. But if I gave all of you a present, I would feel so much better. Because I get to give to everybody. And right now, I'm standing here giving all of you a present. I'm giving you here my presence. I'm giving you my time, my mana, my love, my energy, flowing out in abundance because it feels so good. Because I realize that I am supported by the earth. I have that direct connection beneath my feet constantly. She's always here with me wherever I go. I'm always connected to this source of breath that we all share from. And once I start to seriously connect into these things and wrap my mind and my soul around them, the more that I feel super connected to it. Like Alicia, talking about the waters and how important this is in our lives. Like, I don't know if we realize the things that are truly important. I've had some near-death experiences and come out of it, and there's things that we take for granted every moment. And one of them, I couldn't breathe, and I was passing out, and I was dying from not getting enough oxygen. And I realized, wow, it's those basic things that are the most important. It's really being able to breathe, being able to pump blood, being able to walk and have arms and legs. These are very basic things. They sound silly, but if I start taking them away from you, you're going to realize how much they're worth. They're worth billions and billions and billions and billions of dollars because you would trade all that money for your arms and legs and your breath. It's way more valuable for that. When we talk about the water, when we talk about our food, these things are priceless. These things are not only priceless for us, but priceless for future generations. How much is it worth to say, oh, this is going to feed thousands of generations? Oh, that is priceless. We don't have a concept in our mind to understand and monetize these concepts because they don't have a value that we can monetize. They are ever giving, and ever flowing, and ever abundance. So let's take our mana and our energy, and instead of trading it 1 for 1, hour for money, let's trade it 2 for 1. Let's trade it 100 for 1. Let's say in what I'm doing, I can create value just by what I do. So I can create value with my time and my energy that amplifies my energy and makes it worth more than it's worth. And often it does that in the way that I give and I share. Even if it's not for me, even if I'm not getting the energy back, I'm helping someone that it's worth way more to them than it is to me. My time becomes way more valuable helping this person that can't help themselves. And I'm not receiving the energy back. Yeah, it feels good to help people, but they are getting 10 times the amount of energy that I'm putting into it. So in that, I'm amplifying this energy, I'm sending it out into the world, and I'm making the world overall a more valued place. So I'm increasing the overall value of the world. And that ebbs and flows and comes back into my life in magnificent ways. The world wants that to happen. Life wants that to happen. And so it's going to support this to happen, and energy is going to come behind me and give me everything I need to make that happen. And then I realized, oh, this is great. I can just let this flow, and I don't have to use much energy. And then I realized, wait, why would I ever want to do anything that was against that flow? Why would I want to do anything that is against what life wants? Like, I'm swimming upstream. Like, oh, my ego can make this happen. I'm going to build whatever I want and make my own statue. Like, okay, cool, but if something is not meant to happen, nothing can make it happen. And if something is meant to happen, then nothing can stop it from happening. So once I realize that, I tune into that energy. Where's that flow of abundance going? And then it's not me. I'm not going upstream saying, oh, I'm going to make this happen. I'm saying, I'm going to hold space for what already wants to happen. And the energy is going to channel and flow through me and create in all these ways. And it's not me. I am not starting farms. I am not feeding Lahaina. I am holding space for that energy to happen through me. And I'm not taking credit for it, like, oh yeah, I did all this stuff. No, it's not, because as soon as I step out of alignment with that, then it's just me, and I'm just a human. I'm just some guy on the island with a mandolin and a backpack. But without that, we're creating all of this. We're creating a whole new world here. We're creating the way that we connect to each other and our resources and our exchange. It's like living in a different country. It's like stepping out of this system into a different system. And now our system is, we live with the earth. We live with each other. We live with this Aina. We've created a sovereign connection to each other. And that gives so much power and freedom that, there are other forces or powers that be that don't want that. That way of life is illegal. They want to say, you need to pay your taxes, and you need to go to work, and you have your bills, and you do those things. They don't want people to be free. So this knowledge isn't heavily broadcast. This isn't like people want to say, hey, you guys should figure out how to do it for yourselves. They're saying, no, you should be dependent on us. In fact, you should have to be dependent on us every month, every week, every day, every meal, 3 times a day. But what happens when we become dependent on ourselves? What happens when we become self-dependent, independent, sovereign in that way? Well, then we get to make those decisions. We get to choose where our mana goes. We get to choose where our energy goes. So right now we're creating these systems and these cycles. I work with a nonprofit called HHH, Hungry Hawaiian Heroes, and I've been working with them for a long time now. And they take a lot of food over to Lahaina. Every week, thousands of pounds of Maui grown food. And we get government grants, and we channel that money back into the local farmers and farms, and taking that food over to give it away to people that can't afford to feed themselves. And that happens every week. And I would also love for you guys to get involved. If you want to come cook, if you want to deliver meals, if you want to help grow that food, it's ready for you. This is what we're doing. There are people doing that right now, and they're inviting you to come join. We're inviting you. I'm inviting you right now to come join, to come be a part of this new earth that is being birthed. And you don't have to. You can keep living in the convenience. You can keep doing the way that you've been doing, but eventually you will want to. And eventually that won't be an option. Okay. More and more people come to me and say, oh, Benji, there's a housing crisis and I can't find a place to live and I can't afford my food. And well, I don't have that problem. What are you talking about? I don't have the problem of a housing crisis. I have too much house. I have too much land. I have too many places to live. I have too much food. Well, why? How does that happen? Well, because I'm not living that way. I'm not living by this old program of I have to exploit, I'm going to make money, I'm going to climb the ladder, I'm going to make more money, I'm going to buy the house. No, dude, that system does not work. We figured out in the 1950s that the nuclear family is not going to work for us, you guys. This way of living, there's 2 people together, 1.5 children, 2.5 cars, or whatever it is, that is not going to work. That causes all these social depressions and issues in our society, and it should be very clear to us at this point that we are finding a new way to live. And this new way to live isn't even that new. In fact, we're kind of returning to this older way to live, but we're incorporating that with what we know now. So this new program of giving, of working with the earth, it doesn't include things like bills and rent. It doesn't include things like doing things that you don't want to do for money. But they think, well, Benji, how do I make money if I don't do things I don't want to do? Well, you do what you love. You do what you love and you'll work 10 times harder. No one will have to ask you to do that. No one has to ask me to say, Benji, will you play music? Benji, will you cook food for us? Like, no, I'm going to do that. I'm going to come up and show and do it because I love doing that. And I think that whatever you love doing is very valuable. And I think that I'm not the only one who thinks that. I think there's a lot of other people that would love for you to do what you love. And for you to be so empowered and that energy to be flowing out of you and for everyone to feel that happening. Maybe that's what you guys are feeling for me right now. I love this. I love food sovereignty. I love inspiring people to do this because I am so inspired to do it. No one has to ask me to give a talk. In fact, I didn't even know I was giving a talk today. I just showed up and they're like, hey, okay, great. This is what I love. I'm here to do this. So there are ways that we can all connect to that same energy and just be giving from our hearts that feels so good and be supported to give even more by people giving to us. So this is this new earth. This is this new way of living that we're talking about, and it's not new. It's just different than the way we have been living, of having a job, having rent, trying to one-up everybody. Like, no. Ram Dass talked about this very clearly. He's selling a book, and he charges just a little more than they make for it. And his dad says, why don't you charge $20? Everybody charges $20. They pay for that. He said, you remember when you helped Uncle Rick down the street with his brakes? Because he didn't have a lot of money, and you really had to help him, and you really want to help him? He said, yeah. He said, well, tell me who isn't Uncle Rick. Tell me which one of you isn't my family. Which one of you is the person that I want to exploit? Which one of you is the human being that's not as valuable as I am? Oh, is it those 60 people that live in the other countries? Are they less valuable than I am? Because of the color of my skin? Because of where I'm born? No, that actually gives me greater responsibility. As a human being, I have greater responsibility to treat the animals and insects and those in lesser forms of existence with greater respect. I have this ability to do so. I don't have to, but I have an ability to do that. And so then it's my responsibility. And I would say as Americans, we have a responsibility. As entitled, we're blessed. We have so much convenience. Dude, look around. Look at this. We get to do this. We get to do this every day. And we get to do it with intention and purpose that can help create for other people. And that's so beautiful. So let's see that. It's not that we have to exploit those people. It's that, dude, you could support 60 people in another country with the way that you live your life. And it probably wouldn't change much. You could be like, all right, I'm not going to do Netflix anymore. I'm just going to give $30 to this other country. Like, great, dude, you would probably change somebody's life. And I'm not even saying doing that. I'm not saying give it to some other country. I'm saying help yourselves. I'm saying help your neighbors. I'm saying create empowerment and freedom and sovereignty. And I'm just saying, here's a really easy way that we can start with that. Let's start with our food. This is an easy concept to understand because you can't hoard food. You can have too much food, and then you're like, what do I do with it? It's going to go bad. It's easy to share. It's easy to have this abundance of this food to just share with everybody, that we can understand that concept. And the concept is enough. Enough is this concept. I know people that have Teslas and mansions that don't have enough. And I know people that have backpacks and they have more than enough. I traveled around the country feeding people for free out of dumpsters, out of food banks, in an RV that was given to me for free. Why? Because I had enough. I had more than enough. I could share. And when we realize that we have enough, when we realize, wow, we have more than enough, then we can share that with other people. But some people don't ever get to that concept, and that concept of enough is different for every person. So, once again, I would like to employ all of you to say, what ability to respond do you have to this food sovereignty? What ability to respond do you have to the other human beings on this planet who are supporting you to live the life that you're living right now? And not only that, what ability to respond do you have to your neighbors, to the farmers, to yourself, to your body, to your diet? So think about that. And if you guys would like to get involved in one of these movements, and you guys would like to get your hands in the dirt and receive the healing that's involved with that, and get a part of your community, and receive regular food, and receive help in your gardens, please come talk to me. I'd love to get you guys involved and get you plugged in with these garden parties we've got going on. I'd love to get you guys involved with some of these food movements so that we can help the people who really need us to help. Mahalo ohana. My name is Benji Fox. Please come talk to me later. Aloha.